ICT Functional Skills, Excel if function. Topics you need to know. Need to know about what the if function is, its purpose, and we're going to look at some examples. The true and false values. How to use the insert dialog box. And other functions to use with the if called and or. Okay, so we're going to look at the if function within Excel. And the idea to the if function is that it uses some other data to check a condition, and based upon the result of that, it's going to return something if that condition is met as true, and it can return something else if the condition is met as false. We're going to look at some examples of this. In this instance, the example I've got here, you can see like other functions, it starts with equals, the function name, and then open brackets with the various arguments, and each argument is separated by a comma. And the first argument for the if function is the condition, in this case checking to see if C2 is greater than or equal to 18. Now the next argument is the true false statement. In this case it's saying what it's going to return if that condition that is met is true. If the condition isn't met, this result is going to get a false. You can see in this case it's checked the age is less than 18, so it's given us the false result. If I drag this down now, and you can see what will happen if it's true, what will happen if it's false. Okay, you can expand your if function, and this allows you to have more than one argument, and there's various ways of doing this. You can use multiple ifs and such, and you can also use the and or the or function. Now the and function will say each of these conditions have to be met before giving a true, and the or function will say any of the various conditions, no matter how many there are, if any of those are met, then you'll get the true answer, and if none of them can be met, you get the false. And in this instance you can see I'm checking to see if B2 is greater than 15,000 and if C2 is greater than or equal to 18. And it's an and, so both of those have to be met. So they both have to be earning a certain amount of money and be above a certain age, basically. If I drag this down, you can see to check those accordingly. Now what I will say is when you do create your functions, do manually check at the top, middle and bottom maybe, just to see that you're getting the expected results, especially if you're doing this for hundreds and thousands of rows. Just check a couple to make sure you're getting the expected result, especially if you're referring to an absolute cell somewhere. If you haven't got that right and that's changed, you won't get the expected result. Now the best thing about these true and false values, you can return many things. So in this case I'm returning specific text, hence the quotes. I can return a number and I won't need a quote. I can return another function, so if it meets as true, times this by something, and so forth. And I can put even a VLOOKUP in there if I wanted to. Now what I am going to show you, and I'm going to delete one of these quickly now. To make this easier, you can use the insert function within the formula tab. And you've also got the area for logic, and you'll see the if under there. Whereas if I was in insert function, I'd have to find it. I could type the function name and go, or I might see it on this list. And there's if. Now what this function box does, it does most of the work for us. So you can see I've already got equals if, and then my brackets. And it's got the actual function broken down by its various arguments into boxes and fields. And the first one is the logical test. And we said if C2 is greater than or equal to 18, in this case it's already telling us it's false, so we know the condition won't be met. And what do we want to return if true? Allowed a card. I don't need to use the quotes in this instance because Excel will do it for me as well. What do we want to return if false? Just put a dash for now. If I click another box, you can see what the result's going to be here as well. And for now, if I click OK, I get my result. I can drag this down, and again, it's roughly worked as before. And that insert dialog box really just does most of the work for us. So as long as you understand how the function works, you can usually use those dialog boxes by searching for the function to get most of the things done for you. But of course having some understanding of the function helps first. So you've seen a basic if function, you can see how Get Excel do the work for you, and you can see an if working with other functions as well to give you more conditions. Okay, so that's all the basics you need to know for the if function. Practice task. Create 2 columns of numbers in column A and B. Now in column C, use the if function to check the values in each to see if the values in column A are higher than column B. Decide which message to return if true and if false. For example, cell A is higher. Research the internet for if function examples, as this will help you to think about how you can utilize this function further.